Hi, everybody. Welcome to the TSE Exploring OnBase webinar series and our presentation today on the integration for Workday in OnBase. And we are going to get started momentarily. We see a lot of folks just logging in and quickly jumping on the call. So we're going to give folks a couple of minutes to get in, and then we will get started. Alrighty, we're going to get going here. Folks are continuing to log in, and the recording is going, so we will dive in. So welcome to the webinar. Today's topic is we're going to feature the integration of OnBase and Workday, and this is it's a wonderful integration, and you're going to see a lot of the cool things that we're able to do. But you know, Highland Software, they developed this partnership with Workday going back several years, and we had an opportunity early on to have some customers work in the beta, and there was a lot of neat things that happened in that, and now the integration has really come to maturity. We've done a lot of neat things that we're going to show today. So Tess Vanoff from Highland Software is the technology evangelist for the integration piece, and she is going to be presenting here momentarily. So you can see her photo right there. For today, we are going to make this interactive. If you have questions, we will please put them in the chat box, and then we'll get those in front of Tess, and she can either answer them or let you know if that's coming up in the presentation. So with no further ado, let me hand this over to Tess.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks everybody for joining. Very excited to be here today. As you heard Tom say, I am a Highland technology evangelist with a focus on OnBase integrations. And if you're like, I've never heard of this Tess character before, you know, I know Colleen or Tom or Ray. I am somewhat new to the TE team, so I'm fresh off of my first in-person community live as a technology evangelist, where I did talk a bit about OnBase and Workday, and so I'm very excited to be here today to talk to you all about this. You know, as I mentioned, I'm a little bit newer to the team, and integrations being my focus. Our integration with Workday was one of the first integrations that I was really tasked with focusing on. Because of how important, you know, the partnership is to Highland and to Workday, and because of the wonderful solution that we have in production now, but for what's coming as well. So speaking of that very important and strong partnership that we have between Highland and Workday, that's really where we're going to start. I'm going to offer up some background on the partnership and what's come to fruition as a result of it. And then from there, we're going to talk through our existing solution, Highland AP for Workday, that you heard Tom mention. And then I'm also very excited to be previewing today what is coming up. So we have some enhancements actually to the AP solution that I'm going to cover with you, but then more so than that, an exciting new product that's coming soon called Highland for Workday Extend. And as I'm mentioning something that's coming soon, that's typically a pretty good time for me to go ahead and share the following. Very exciting product disclaimer. I think I'm not just professionally, but really morally obligated to share this disclaimer with you. And really all we're saying here is that always, you know, as we're sharing some upcoming features and things that we're very excited to talk about, we just want you to always keep in mind that you should be making purchasing decisions based on, you know, things that are actually available versus what may be featured today as part of our product roadmap. So as I mentioned, some new upcoming stuff that we are excited to talk about, but just don't factor that into your purchasing decisions until it's, you know, really ready to roll. And I'll try to provide timelines on that as best I can. But with that business out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about this Workday Alliance partnership. So Hyland and Workday have been partnering really since 2016, and you'll see I've thrown some pictures of some of the key Hyland contacts on the Hyland side for this partnership. There on the right-hand side of the screen, but it's thanks to this strong select partnership that we've been able to really have both product teams, right, of both organizations remain closely aligned and meet regularly so that we can ensure our joint customer success. In fact, beyond that, we have key members of our R&D team at Hyland trained and certified on Workday solutions. So we're staying current on the latest technologies and products there. And thanks to all of that, we are able to deliver those consistent solutions with hopefully effortless upgrade paths. Now, speaking of those consistent solutions, we actually have two that are available. One I'm really going to focus on here today, and then one that is up and coming. So the first piece, and one that we are going to talk about today, Hyland AP for Workday, that is a Workday certified AP invoice processing solution. So that works with Workday Financial Management to really speed up the process of capturing, processing, and approving invoices. So we are going to dig into that one a little bit more today. We're not going to talk about this next one, but it's certainly worth mentioning. We do have an integration for Workday Student, which is Workday's student information system, and that's really around centralizing and processing transcripts to create that single source of truth for students and for their transcripts. And that is currently in the process of getting certified by Workday. And then finally, another piece that we will talk about today is our upcoming solution, Hyland for Workday Extend. And again, it's really due in large part to that strong partnership that we have with Workday and the active research that we've been able to do on their new Workday Extend platform that should be ready to release this product early next year. It's really opened up possibilities for us to pair the power of on-base content services with really any Workday object across financial, student, and HCM. And that's the example that we're going to be taking a look at today is with Workday HCM. But for starters, let's talk about what is out there, what is proven, you know, with well over 40 mutual customers using the AP automation, Hyland and Workday. You know, this is where it all began for us, right? We've been partnering on AP innovation and solutions since 2016. So, you know, while this is a robust end-to-end solution between two really robust and complex systems, the premise of it, the basis of what we're trying to do here is pretty simple. So if I can just boil it down, maybe even too much, right? Right in Workday is where we're storing our structured data related to our AP processes. And then it's within OnBase that we're able to capture, manage, and retain the unstructured content that's associated with that data that is being created and stored in Workday. Now, by pairing these two systems together, there's quite a few benefits that you can expect to realize. First and foremost, we're looking to speed up the procure to pay cycle. So by automatically validating AP documents that are captured within Workday, or excuse me, within OnBase with that data that's captured within Workday, we can post invoices for payment quicker, get through the approval processes quicker, and again, speed up that process. Through the intelligent capture that we offer, we're able to reduce manual indexing. So again, we're going to be able to more efficiently and accurately gather data from those AP documents. And this will lead to improved process controls and tracking. So we've got things like exception handling, notifications, analytics built into this to make sure that we can improve those process controls. And through it all, we're really looking to also increase visibility into all of the relevant information by providing links to those AP documents that are in OnBase from the Workday Financial Management screens. So as you're tooling around in Workday, you're able to pull up very easily those related AP documents, even though they're being stored and managed within OnBase. So it's a like I said, end-to-end solution. It's very robust, and a lot of stuff is happening behind the scenes. So I do have some screenshots to share to hopefully bring this to life. But before we get to the screenshots, I think it's helpful to take a step back and look at this process kind of at a higher level, graphically here, to understand what's really happening between the two systems. So to orient us to the screen here a bit, on the top over the green portion of the screen, but the top half of the screen, we've got the OnBase suite, and then below that, it's over light blue, but just keep in mind it's the bottom half of the screen, as we'll be talking about what's happening on the Workday side of things. So you can already see the first step in the process here with that scan and import is really around capturing your content, your documents. It doesn't matter how they come into the system. They could be scanned paper, they could be electronic. Commonly with Workday customers, it's coming to you as an email, so it can be imported right from your inbox. But however those are coming in, we're going to capture those documents, and that's where it begins, by bringing them in, whether they're invoices or other supporting content, into that single system, which of course is OnBase. So that's what's happening in that first scan and import step. Now, as we import them, we are also automating the process of lifting information from them to use for indexing. So this is using Brainware intelligent capture for Brainware for invoices is another way you may hear it referred to. But the lifted data from the invoice image is being automatically validated against vendor and PO data that exists within Workday. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in the next step, but it's within this index and classify step that we're assigning your keywords to the documents and classifying them so that, essentially we know what we're looking at and how to manage it within the system. Obviously, an invoice is going to be treated differently than a packing slip or a change order, and so on. So that's what happens in that second step. Next, we're going to actually move down to the bottom here and talk about this exchange data piece. So you'll see this happening down in the Workday half of the screen, which is really here to indicate that throughout this whole process, OnBase and Workday are talking back and forth, really to validate that the information is correct within what we call our WorkView screen. So some of you are familiar with WorkView already, and we're going to see some screenshots of that here in a second. But really, not only does this validate the indexing values, but it also allows us to leverage the existing Workday data to index and classify the imported documents. So as you can imagine, this expedites the document processing, but also ensures that the data is complete, even if the desired values on the invoice themselves are not readable or present on the document. So that validation, that continual exchange of data, is going to ensure to us that we've got the most up-to-date and accurate information. So throughout the process, again, it's all being validated, and that can help expedite the capture process. And truly, when the values line up with what we're seeing on the invoices with what's in the Workday records, that invoice can be sent directly for payment. If there's no exceptions, boom, we'll post it right away and let's get this thing paid. If there is an exception, the handler, the person who's taking care of it, can then use live lookups in Workday to make sure, of course, that they're getting the most clean and correct data. And you can really choose where you want to handle this. So you're going to see the process and manage piece of it up there on the OnBase half of the screen. But you can really manage those exceptions and approvals within OnBase workflow. Or if you want to earlier than that, we can push the information back into Workday so that you can manage it within the Workday business process as well. It's really up to you, but you've got a little bit of flexibility based on what your specific business process looks like. And then the final step of this, like we said, we're processing, we're managing, we're speeding up those approvals, we're getting this stuff posted back to Workday so that the invoices can be paid, certainly from Workday, but then we also have the capability to retrieve from Workday. So this means that the document is readily available from Workday screens, of course, still stored in OnBase, but this gives you much greater options for document retention by having it in that one central repository. So we're going to take a screenshot, or excuse me, we're going to take a look at some screenshots here in just a second. But before we do, I want to just review with you some of those key features. So as you heard me say, we're going to capture invoice data, and we've got that integrated validation against Workday records. And then we're also going to do work tag entry and PO line pairing based on what we're able to lift off of those invoices. So I'm going to show you an example of what that looks like within their WorkView screens as well. Again, as you heard me say, we can manage exceptions and push completed invoices back to the Workday business process really at any point in time. You can manage those approvals within OnBase, you can manage them within Workday. And then as you heard me say, and we'll see a screenshot of this as well, there will be a link from those Workday screens to very easily retrieve the invoice that is stored in OnBase. And then finally, we've got, again, that continual sync. So you're able to sync and even cancel invoices bi-directionally with Workday thanks to that connection between the two systems. Now, from a technical standpoint, some highlights here. This integrates directly via the Workday API, Workday Web Services. And this is a common API. It's easily accessible. It's likely a familiar API for any system integrator who's familiar with the Financials API suite. And then, you know, as you may have heard me say, something we're very proud of, this is a Workday certified integration. From an OnBase standpoint, this requires the Unity client and workflow, WorkView, and then optionally Brainware for invoices if you'd like to use that for bringing and validating those invoices as they come in. So let's take a closer look. Like I said, I've got a few screenshots here. So for those of you familiar with OnBase and with WorkView, you know what you're looking at here. This is an example of the WorkView application that we built for this integration. So what we're looking at here is a PO invoice that was processed and extracted automatically. So you're seeing some of that information. And then at the bottom there, you're seeing the PO line pairing. So the PO lines that have been pulled out. Now, if there were errors here, you've got a button there. I should have called it out on the screen a little bit better, but for show line item errors, so we could actually dig into and remedy those errors right from there. And then I'll show in a second what this looks like once we push it to Workday. But before that, I wanted to dig in a little bit deeper on the WorkView screen. So again, up here at the top, where we're doing some invoice validation, there's 0 errors, 0 warnings detected. But as I said, we'd be able to see those here, and we'd be able to click on the show line item errors to dig into those a little bit more from this screen. And then what I've just done on this screen is I've opened up one of these individual PO lines so that we can see the PO line item in more detail, but then also to point out those work tags here. So we can, if there were additional work tags, those could be returned and shown here as well if those were pulled from the invoice. And that's what would be posting over to Workday. So if we look at, I'm going to go back actually, I think, to that initial Workday screen that we had for the PO invoice. Once everything's approved, or maybe we've posted this out to Workday to do approvals there, but ultimately it's posted to Workday, and we have that supplier invoice object created. And then what I'm calling out here on the screen is that document link. So although we're in Workday and we're viewing this information now within Workday, I can easily click on that link, and that's going to pull up that document viewer for me so I can see the actual invoice that was captured. So allow me to reiterate once again, this is a Workday certified solution. We've got many customers who have this and who are already benefiting from this, speeding up their procure to pay processes, increasing accuracy, increasing visibility. And really, this was the first step, of course, a major one, but really the first step in our partnership with Workday. Now, as we continue to partner with Workday, there's other ways that we're going to further this solution. And I'm excited to share with you one of the ways that we're doing that. So in the previous example, I talked about we're validating invoice data in OnBase with PO and vendor data that was present in Workday. But what about, those organizations, and maybe this is me that I'm describing, maybe this is you that I'm describing. What if you use a different system altogether to generate those POs? Or you need to be able to validate and perform a 3-way match of the invoice, PO, and receipt data before we're able to actually pay that invoice. Well, this is where really our newest solution comes into play. And when I say future enhancement, it's a very near future enhancement. It's slated for a Q4 release, and will be communicated with our other Q4 releases next month, hopefully. But this is the Hyland Direct Spend Matching for Workday solution, and I want to provide just a little bit of detail around this one. So this is a pre-configured solution. It's built on the Hyland Solutions platform, but it's designed to support Workday Financials customers in product-based industries, such as retail and hospitality, but really any organization that manages direct spend. So here's the scoop on this one. This supports organizations with complex three-way matching scenarios where they need to be able to verify and validate supplier invoices against corresponding purchase orders and receipts. And as you can imagine, or maybe again, you're even experiencing this, that becomes especially challenging when you're working across disparate data sources and formats across different lines of business and tools. So this solution really aims to simplify that. It provides full visibility into direct spend across the business with end-to-end frictionless processing. It's really an extension of the AP automation solution that we saw that I just covered, and it was built in collaboration with Workday. So this is part of their package solutions program. And like I said, I think it's just another really wonderful step in our partnership. This was a need that Workday came to Highland for and said, hey, I know we can solve this together. And so we've been able to do this collaboratively. Just at a high level, like I said, this is yet to be released, but we're excited to be communicating about it next month with the other Q4 releases. These are some of the key features that are included here. You heard me mention the three-way match. So this is going to streamline that three-way matching of invoice, PO, and receipt data across different lines of business and tools. It's going to increase that end-to-end efficiency within your AP processes. It's a prepackaged solution. It's user-friendly setup, and there should be an enhanced ease of use with this. And that can lead to faster accrual cycles. So we're going to be able to speed that month-end close by automating the direct spend accruals. It's advanced AP automation. So again, not unlike the original solution here, we're expediting processes, hopefully improving tracking. There's rules-driven matching, routing, and exception management. You can even set different thresholds for variances for the matching as it occurs. And then you'll still have that native visibility. So you're going to gain full visibility into all the procurement documentation from within Workday Financials as it's stored in OnBase. And we've got that seamless data integration. So these are high volumes of procurement documents being integrated right into those Workday workflows. So at a high level, because I love a process diagram, this one's very high level in this case. There's more pieces and parts, but essentially what we're looking at is we have a third-party system, another ERP, a procurement system of some kind that's generating that PO. And then we have OnBase there to capture invoice data, receipt data as it comes in, and continually validate that against that third-party system, as well as Workday to ensure the match. And then finally push that over to Workday so that the invoice can be paid. And of course, we're speeding up that process. So like I said, this is upcoming, but whether it's this solution or that original AP solution that I mentioned that you're interested in, we've got more information for those existing customers out there on Highland Community. So there is an integrations for Workday page, and you can go out there to find an overview, presentations, all kinds of information on that existing AP solution. This will also be a great place to see announcements surrounding that upcoming direct spend solution as it gets released next month, and those communications are forthcoming. So please keep that in mind. So that's kind of what's happening, what's there, and what's new. Now let's talk a little bit now about what is next with our partnership here, and that has to do with Highland for Workday Extend. So this is the next really exciting chapter in our partnership with Workday. And what it allows us to do is extend our integration capabilities beyond financials and student to now include HCM. So the example that I'm going to focus on today is in fact for HCM, because from an integration standpoint, we were excited to break new ground with that. But what's important to keep in mind about this is that it's an integration that's designed to work within really any area of Workday. So any object within Workday ultimately will be able to take advantage of this type of integration moving forward. However, our first focus has been HCM, and it's been a good focus. It's been fruitful for us already. Because we were named winner of the 2022 Workday Partner Innovation Awards in the Office of Human Resources category. So those awards really honor select Workday services and software partners for expertise and commitment to accelerating innovation to customers while extending those key Workday solutions. So Highland was selected for its content services for Workday Human Capital Management Solution, which is the one we're about to see. And as you'll notice, it provides document capture, storage, governance capabilities for content, really any content associated with employee data. I mean, this could be resumes, benefits documents, I-9s. I mean, the list goes on and on. For those of you familiar with HR, you know there's lots of content that accompanies an employee throughout their life cycle. And that's really what this solution was all about. And it's important to note, of course, that the solution was built using Workday Extend. Now, just to cover my bases here, I'm going to throw up another little disclaimer, again, because this is the piece that is not yet quite in production, but is coming soon. And when I say soon, I don't know if I mentioned this, we're really targeting an early 2023 release. I had to check myself there for a minute. I was like, are we really almost in 2023? But in fact, we are. So look for more information coming on this in early 2023. It is available in an early access program. So if you like what you're seeing today, you know, I'd encourage you to reach out to your TSC or OnBase counterparts to figure out how we can start conversations around this. But there are some additional Workday prerequisites. Mainly, you need to have Workday Extend. Now you might be wondering, what is Workday Extend? You've said this 10 times now. Can we get some information on what this actually is? Absolutely. It's essentially a technology platform for customers and partners alike to build applications and extensions on top of the already delivered capabilities in Workday to meet unique business needs. And as you heard me say, this is across not only HCM, but financial management and student as well. So by leveraging Workday Extend, we've created Hyland for Workday Extend, and our initial focus is on HCM. So from a key feature standpoint, we're talking about being able to capture new documents in OnBase, but seamlessly from familiar screens of Workday. And then also from those familiar screens, being able to review existing documents, see a thumbnail preview from that documents list, and then easily access and view documents in OnBase in one click. Again, all kind of from this very modern web application that we've built that feels very seamless to Workday. From a technical standpoint, this again interacts with Workday, but this is their new REST API, and as I mentioned, is built on that new Workday Extend platform. So let's take a quick look at this. For this, I captured a little video, but before I dive right into that, I just want to provide a little background information, kind of set the scene a little bit for what we're going to be looking at. For this particular demo, we're going to be employee Logan McNeil. As you can see, we're on her Workday record already. And we're going to say we've just completed a new certification. We want to upload that into Workday so that, you know, obviously we can get proper credit, you know, within Workday from our employer for completing that certification. But we, of course, also want, and our employer really wants, that document captured in OnBase so that it can be retained appropriately. And with Hyland for Workday Extend, we're able to initiate all of that from Workday HCM itself. So let's take a look. So I'll kick this off and I'm just going to speak to it. So we're clicking on the actions menu for Logan. You can see an option there for view OnBase documents. And then we have an OnBase documents list. So from here, she can see all the documents associated with her employee record, thumbnail preview. I clicked into her little direct deposit here so we can actually pull that up and review it from the thumbnail, or we can click that view documents in OnBase link. And we've got a few more features here. You know, we can zoom in, zoom out, we can rotate it. We're able to see the keywords that have been captured. And then back on the documents list, to capture the new document, we click that rather conspicuous capture new document button. I'm dragging and dropping it. We could also browse out to find it, but ultimately a quick drag and drop, capture a document name here. And then once we're done typing that, we just click OK. And it's been captured. So I can view the document in OnBase again just by clicking on that link. Here it is. It's immediately available within OnBase. And then we can also return to our full list of documents. And, you know, Logan's pretty proud of herself. She's going to scroll down here and actually find it in her list of documents. And you'll see it's readily available here as well. She can click on it, view the thumbnail like we did with the previous document, and all of that right from here. So in this example, I was kind of speaking to it as if I'm Logan McNeil and I'm uploading this document on my own. Keep in mind, you know, these actions could also be taken by an HR employee or a manager or you know, an employee that has the appropriate access rights in both Workday and OnBase. Now what you're seeing here, like I said, this is an early iteration of what will ultimately be Highland for Workday Extend. So keep in mind that the look and feel of some of these screens may change, but the initial functionality of being able to capture and view and access documents will absolutely be, a part of that, though it might look just slightly different. And it bears repeating, although I know I said it before, we're focusing on an example here, within HCM, but we see applications for this Highland for Workday Extend within financials and student as well. So more to come on this. And again, that integrations for Workday being a great place within community to kind of keep an eye out for updates on this. So I'll put in one more final plug, for community if you have access to that. And I know I've kind of, hopefully at a high level, unloaded quite a bit of information on you. But wanted to give you a flavor for, what our existing Workday integration looks like, where we're headed in the very near term, and then what it looks like in the future with Highland for Workday Extend. So hopefully this was a nice crash course for you. As Tom said, if you've got questions, feel free to submit those. But at this point in time, I'm going to turn it back over to Tom because I think he's got just a couple of slides here to round us out for the afternoon.
Well, thank you, Tess. That was wonderful. A lot of good information. And these integrations, they can be so strategic in our technology investments and smoothing business operations, creating efficiencies. There's so many value points in this, so we appreciate you drawing those out, not only to what we can do today, but also what's coming so we can plan for 2023. We appreciate that. Real quick, I just wanted to mention TSC Managed Services. I know that we have folks attending who are both OnBase end-use customers as well as OnBase partners. So wherever you fall in that, TSC Managed Services is available for you to either augment your OnBase support or to actually be the full support. So I just wanted to mention that real quick, and just thank everybody for attending today. Our next webinar is going to be November 17th. We're going to do the integration for Salesforce with OnBase, and more info will be coming on that very soon. If you would like to suggest topics for the future, we're actually in the process right now planning for 2023, and you can email heather.heath@tsc-ecm.com, or you can email info@tsc-ecm.com. And we're taking all suggestions as we plan for the coming year. Yes, already, Tess, as you said, I can't believe it's already October. Yes, we are planning for the coming year. It's crazy. But we thank everyone for attending. You will be receiving a link to the recording of today if you want to review it or share it with your teams. And again, thanks so much. We appreciate your support. And if you have any follow-up questions, please send them on over. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.